Okay, just give you a quick little background. I already did this video once, but for some reason the audio didn't take, so I get to do it again. All right, this is going to be just showing you how to do basic center lines. Now, you may not like to hear this, but you are going to have to use some common sense. You are going to have to go through and take information you get from here and apply it to other drawings. I'm not giving you every drawing step by step. This is where you have to take the basics and expand on your knowledge. All right, so be prepared. All right, the first one we're going to look at is pretty much like the first drawing that you have some arcs and circles and things. So I'm going to put myself in the center lines. Now, remember on our geometrics when we were talking, we needed to have center marks. And our center marks were on large fillets or important fillets or important circles, arcs, things like that. So when you're looking at this drawing here, basically we're in our center layer. We're going to go to Annotate, Tab, come to our dimensions and hold it down and go to center marks. This fillet is very important. It's a large portion of this drawing, so we have that going there. Let's repeat it and let's go to here. Now, you could extend this out a little larger if you wanted to, but it's not necessary. You're saying, hey, here's the center mark for this radius. Here's the center mark for these. These two are very important. So when you look at this also, I do want you to understand, do you see how this is flat here and it's got a smooth curve? There's no jagged edge right here. So that's why we don't have any solid line going here. This is why we don't have any hidden line going around here. These are the only two center marks that we actually need. Now this is like the circle with the target. This would be a direction. Now once again, there's no reason to put a direction here or here, because when you have a center line which is long, short, long, and you have an object line which is thick, the object line is going to cover it up, so it's going to be confusing. So this is just fine for this situation. Okay? Now, the next thing I want to show you is these two drawings here. These are exactly the same two drawings, but this drawing was done one way and this was done another. Okay, with this drawing here, when it was done, we had all the center marks put in, which were fine. And actually, there is a center mark that is missing, and I'm going to add that in right now for you guys. This center mark right here. Okay, so let me just pull this little guy out. Okay, this one has all the center lines in it, where I prefer people that are just starting out to do the orthographics, that they put the center lines in, and this would be a circle, not a fillet and a fillet. You'd have your center lines. It's easier to go from your center lines, putting in circles and trimming, than it is just to go from the edge of your circle over. Okay, over here, it is from edge to edge. There are no center lines. So these are exactly the same exact drawings. And you want to get technical, I will clean this one up so it looks just the same. Okay, but you notice this one has where the center marks are. Now, let me show you the difference on how you can do them. I don't care if you do it this way or this way, as long as it gets done and it makes sense to you. Now, let's start with this one that has the center lines. Okay, if you already have the center lines, what you're going to do is you're going to go into each circle. This circle, and I grab both vertical and horizontal. I'm coming to this circle, vertical and horizontal. This circle, vertical and horizontal. Now check this out. You see this line right here? It goes to here and drops down. So that means this line also has to be taken. So I choose all those lines and I drop those on center layer. Okay, that's what I do on this one. Okay, now what I do next is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to freeze off these red lines so you can see this a little bit easier. And I'm going to place myself in the paper layer. Now the reason I'm placing myself in the paper layer is very, very simple. I'm putting it in there so we can turn off the red lines, and with the red lines being turned off, you can see this a little bit easier. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to come in, I'm going to do my offset exactly like we did with our geometrics. We used approximately 0.25. So I'm going to go offset, L for layer, I'm going to do C for current, and I'm going to type in 0.25. I'm going to come in here and I'm going to take each of these outer areas and I'm going to bring them up or down in all the different directions. And you know what? I would rather overkill it and go in every direction, even if I'm not sure, just so I know I've got it. But you know what? If you miss one, it's not a big deal. Just go back in and do it again. Okay? So let's go here and let's go here. All right. So I've offset my 0.25 all the way. I'm going to start at my front view here. I'm going to go trim and I'm going to hit my space bar. My center lines here, I'm cutting between, and I'm cutting between here because this one needs to go away too. Now looking at this, I'm going to hold my shift. This turns to extend. So I extended there, I extend here, I extend here. Now I'm going to delete this and this line to make things easier. You see this? I have everything matched up on 3 sides. See this one? It's hitting the edge. It doesn't need to go there. I can go in with a regular old circle from the center here and do my trim and get rid of this. Now, see how even that is? And now I can get rid of this here. So this drawing is completely done. All right, let's look at the side. Let's do our trim, hit our space bar. I'm just trimming everything to start with, and I'm going to go through and really clean things up. The first thing is, see the hole here? This has the target. Remember I said the crosshair, the target? This is the direction on where the hole is going. So that line is completely good. So I know I can get rid of this, and I can get rid of this. Now, you see this hole that's going down here? If it comes across and down, that hole is right here. So at this point, I don't need this line down here because I've already trimmed it. But this guy here, I need to bring this one down. Now, I'm bringing it down to that point because I know from here to here is 0.25. I can offset this up 0.25. You'll see it actually matches. So I'm going to get rid of this one here. Now, the only reason I'm going to leave this line actually coming up to here at 0.25 is because you see there's a break in the hidden lines and the center line, so it doesn't look like it's attached. If my hidden line went across here and it made it look like it was one line, I'd either bring it past it or bring it down so it doesn't look like it's attached. So those 2 views are done. This one here, let's work on this. Trim. I'm going to get rid of this. I'm going to get rid of all of this. Now I need to take a look. See this line that goes all the way across? That's fine for right now. So I'm going to get rid of my center or this paper line. And I don't need this one. And I don't need this one. This circle here is also concentric with this circle. So it's one continual line through here, one continual line through here, which is great. This one actually is not necessary because see this line right here? If I actually did an offset of this circle here, 0.25 would be right there. Why? I know I've done this enough times. The problem is, see over here where this one has got the break in the space so it doesn't look like it's attached? This one doesn't have a break. So I'm going to take this one and pull it just a little bit further out. With that, it kind of messes up the nice perfect marks here, but it doesn't matter. At least it shows you what you got. So this is what this drawing will look like. Now, with this drawing, it's because I selected the lines and turned them to center lines. I feel this is easier and easier to do. Now, let's come over here. Remember this drawing here? This was exactly the same thing as that one. So let's go ahead and put these red lines back on so you can see these were identical. This already had the red lines going in the center. where this one didn't. Okay? So, with this one not having the red lines in the center, there's nothing for us to grab to turn into center lines. So, I'm going to make your life easier, and I'm going to freeze off these red lines so you can see what you have to do. Now that there's nothing to grab, we need to put ourselves in the center, and we're going to go to Annotate, Dimension, Center Marks. Anywhere there's a circle, here, here, or here. Those are all the center lines, okay? Now, this is where you have to really think. I'm going to take my center line here, and I'm going to drag it out. Make sure your ortho's on and it is straight. That's my first drag. And drag this one here, and this one here. I'm going to take this one, and I'm going to go from here. Now, do you see where the difference is? Where I have to drag these lines, where the other ones I just grabbed them and they did it all by themselves. So, like I said, you do what makes more sense to you, because there's always more than one correct way. Now, watch this. You see I have two lines here. These two need to be friends. I can either join them together or delete one of them. And then I can take and drag this one out. This one out. But here's where I've got to remember, if I'm dragging this one out, I need one over here. I need a center line, and you've got to remember that. This hole here has a center here, which is the identical space from here to here, is the same space as here to here. So I'm going to have to copy this line from this hidden line here to this hidden line here. So I think you can see all the extra work I've done on this. Is this wrong? No. Does this make sense to you? If it does, do it. So I'm going to put myself back in the paper. I'm going to do my offset, L for layer, C for current, and 0.25. And I'm going to offset all my lines out just like I did before. And I offset more than I need because, like I said, I'm just going to erase them anyway. And you know what? If I forget to erase them, they're going to not print because they're on the paper layer. So I'll just keep going through and do my offset. You choose what you want to do. I think it's easier the other way. Now with trim, let's come to this front. Let's trim between the yellow lines. Here. Let's do here. 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 Okay, the front view is pretty much done. I just can get rid of these yellow lines. And remember, we're still going to have to do the same thing here. I'm going to go to a circle from here to here and do this trim. And I'm going to delete the circle. Oh, silly me. Let's get that back. Trim. Forgot to delete this line here. Now see how it's perfectly set? That one's done over there. This one, trim. Let's get all these areas here. Here, here, here. And I'm going to delete my yellow lines. Now, that's not good. Yes, it's getting late and I'm tired. Delete. Now, this one going straight across is fine, but this one, if I did my offset, it's going to land right there. Once again, it's at the broken spot, just like it was over here, so that's okay. So now I'm going to do my trim here. I'm going to take all of these, and I'm going to take a look. This one goes all the way across. This one, because it's concentric, same with this one and this one. This one here doesn't need to come all the way out. It actually, at 0.25, is right there. So remember, I don't want it to stay right at the 0.25, so I'm going to go ahead and grab this and make it a little bit past it. And now I can get rid of these yellow lines. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to use this one as an example. These is an example on how to do the other ones. You're going to have to look at them and think, okay, how did this work? How does this work here and there? Now, let's come over here. I want to show you a real quick example with this one here. Let me turn on these red lines. And I'll do these two side by side, and hopefully you'll see the difference. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and put myself in the center layer. This one has the center lines, this one does not. I'm going to do them, each of them, step by step, okay? If I have my center lines, I grab these two, I turn them to center lines. I am good. If I don't have center lines, I need to go to Annotate, I need to go to Dimension, and see the center mark? I need to come in here. Now that I've got the center mark, I need to now go pick the center mark, and I need to pull it straight up with Ortho on, straight down with Ortho on. Pick it here, pull it out, pull it out. To me, this was very quick compared to this. Now, I'm going to come over here and put myself in that yellow paper layer, and I'm going to go ahead and freeze off the red just because it's easier to see. I'm going to do offset, L for layer, 0.25. Oops, my L for layer is going to be the current, and it's going to be 0.25. I'm going to take here and go out, here and go down. I'm going to go here and go out. Oops, let me get this one out, and here and go down. I'm going to do my trim. I'm going to take this, 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 and this. I'm going to hold my shift and extend this one down. Okay? Now, I can go in and get rid of all my yellow lines, and they're basically done exactly the same. This one, I just grabbed my lines and changed. This one, I had put my center line in. So either way, whichever makes you happier and easier for you, please do from there. The only thing to remember is make sure, like, see the circle is here and there was a hole coming down through this side. So this circle is in line with this circle, so it all becomes one. Please don't do something, and let me go ahead and show you what I'm talking about. Let me copy this and put this here. And let's say I have somebody took this little guy here and brought it on up. Let's take off the snap up to like here. Okay, they did this. And then they realized, oh, there needs to be a center line right here. Then they came in with a center line and drew another line here. See why this wouldn't work? You need one continual line. These two lines are giving you a false idea of what it looks like. If you do something like that, you can always come to modify and use the join and join this line to this line, and they would work together. Okay? Well, I'm hoping that gives you your idea on center lines. The big thing is, you're not going to like me saying it. You're going to have to think, guys. You're going to have to use some common sense and say, hey, I've got these centers. I need to do this, this, and this. So that's what you're going to do with it. All right? So hopefully all that will be taken care of, and hopefully this video is going to work.